So the question for the panelist is, what contributes to your success, and how do you define your success? I'll start first with Abbas.
I think the key thing too is, and I speak from the higher ed perspective, and the higher ed perspective is that probably there's a significant challenges. I mean, the thing that we get bombarded most is, implants closing and the universities focusing back on higher, the core mission, which is education. So anything that we do, we have to look at it in terms of how can you align with that core mission. And it's kind of tough to figure that out when printing is not everybody's priority. It's not something the deans worry about. It's not something the president of the university worries about. So the key thing is to look at what can you do to align some customers that can be your champions. So the way I look at success right now is one of the things I look at very importantly is what new projects do we get. It's not, so if you're getting the same stuff over and again, we are not really expanding, we're just stable, and if you're stable, you're falling behind. So the complexity of projects, if you're getting more complex projects, that means we're actually making inroads into learning new things and being continuously strategically relevant. So to me, that's a very important thing. The other important thing that I look at is how many new customers. As Gary mentioned, you can have a first right of refusal, but a first right of refusal doesn't mean anything if your customer is going to be unhappy. What I've learned from all these years in industry, that especially around printing, is that you can print the best job, but if the customer is unhappy, they'll find a way to reject it. And they will go and make you print again and again and again and again until you get tired, and you say, finally, go away from here. And so the point is to get the customer actually on your side, and that way he's your champion. So those are the things that I look for is, can we actually produce, there's going to be good days and bad days. And if we, for example, if we have a job that, didn't get out on time, is the customer understanding? If the customer says, I get it, and I get it, and we all have bad days. If a customer comes that, it says to me, then to me that's a good thing. If the customer says, I knew that was going to happen, and that's why I didn't want to use you in the first place, then that's we've not really connected with that customer. So it's transitioning these customers from just wanting to use a service, coming to from a service, and to actually wanting to use a service.
Great, thanks. Mike Lincoln.
Hello. I think the most important thing to our organization was quality and focus on quality. When I started with the state 10 years ago, the one thing that was really pervasive with our shop was it's good enough for government. And that particular statement just drove me crazy. What does good enough for government mean? I mean, we're spending tax dollars on printing and producing product for agencies. And for my staff, good enough wasn't good enough. And the one thing that I preached real hard with my staff was, if you were buying something at a store, and I used this at dinner last night talking about, if you go into a bookstore and you pull a book off the shelf, and you start flipping through that book, and you find in the center of the book, you got some dog-eared pages. And you open it up, and those pages extend past the trim edge of the book. Are you going to put that book back on the shelf and look for a better one? Because that's what you're going to buy? And that's really what I had our staff focus on, that particular aspect of quality. So everything that goes out the door, if they wouldn't buy it, I don't want it getting to our customers. And getting that focus was pretty, it was a struggle. It took about 4 or 5 years to get most of my staff to buy into it. But the one thing with focusing on the quality, our customers started to notice it. And, back to, I've heard it twice now, we do have first right of refusal in our shop. Our customers have to come to us. But the department that I am under, we believe that we want to be the first choice for service. And that is something that we strive for. And today, 10 years later, we've made some huge strides, and most of our customers are advocates.
Right, so be the first choice, not first refusal. Tom Robach.
They said everything I was going to say already. I'll try something else. Actually, I think it's important at least in our perspective of Progressive, to realize that we're not in business to be a commercial print shop. We're in business to sell auto insurance, keep our customers, and settle our claims as quickly as possible. That's why we're there to support that business, not for the sake of becoming a commercial print shop. So on that note, you've got to make sure you keep a really tight relationship up with your business partners. You not only want to be at the table with them to react to what they want you to do for them, but you want to be in the right technology so you can leverage and present them with capabilities that they didn't even conceive of, that you can bring to them to help, in my case, sell more auto insurance. Work the relationship with the business, always continue to nurture it. You have to work on it. You can't just let it sit there, or they're going to go somewhere where you really don't want them to. So keep an eye on the ball and just keep working very closely with them.
Great, thank you. Gary?
Obviously, you can see we think a little bit outside the box, inside the box, whatever you want to do. Our main focus is that when you define success and really what it is that you need to do, I would define it as it being a state of mind, as I said, okay? So what we've done is we've taken a failing operation and we've worked really hard at being a solutions provider, okay? So, and I tried to say this and sum this up in a brief manner, and I'm going to just kind of hit some natural, topics here, and hopefully I don't sound repetitive. If you do these things, it's going to come naturally to you, okay? In other words, because like I said, there is no major secret to doing any of this. I mean, each one of you know exactly what you need to do in your implant, but you need to be creative in how you solve their problems. So when you do that, you're going to start to build loyalty from your clientele. Loyalty is probably the key to avoid outsourcing. You begin by dealing with your hardest customers that never wanted to use you, and you focus on how do I win you back over. 10 years ago, you ruined my stupid little copy job, and I'm never going to use you again. How many of you heard that? A bunch, right? Okay. So focus on doing that, and think of it as that you're in the sales business. You're here to sell your implant to your clientele, which is your end users. It doesn't make any difference. You have to win them over. So focus on that, and then focus on your production techniques. If you can't get it out right in time, get it done properly. So really that's the starting point. We could probably get into a lot of this. There's a lot of other questions, but focus on your production techniques. Fix your internal problems that are broken so that when you do go out and sell it, you don't ruin it, okay? Because you're only going to get in one more shot with them. And so it's just really being innovative and creative to any problem that comes away, okay?